I think sort of when you start table tennis, you don't realise how competitive people can get, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at like the first few competitions, when I first heard a cho, I was like, oh my gosh, like people are like really like into it and like they're really like shouting at each other.
Some people are like thunderous.
Yes, very much. And like
Amelia was one of them actually.
okay, but that was like after a while.
Happy Monday, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Serving Up Trouble. This is the podcast about everything women's table tennis. I'm your host, Chloe, and we've got such a fun episode coming up for you today. I'm chatting to Tiana Dennison and Amelia Chan from Fusion Table Tennis Club. Tiana I've known for a really long time, but just kind of in the background. Like, I've always seen her at competitions, known her as a player, a fab personality, and Amelia I was getting to know for the first time during the interview. They're both really close friends, and I think what's really great about having them both on the podcast today is that they get to talk about their friendship and how they also helped each other to keep going, to come back to the sport and keep enjoying playing table tennis. They've got a great dynamic between them, some really funny anecdotes, and also just some really great heartfelt conversations about their experiences within the sport. So a really fab episode coming up. My adventures in table tennis this week, I've been searching long and hard for a workout routine that I can do to try and get back into shape for table tennis. And you know what? It's actually really hard. I've been trying to look for things that don't require too much equipment. It has to be something that I can kind of slip in between shifts, you know, when I'm at home, working from home. So I think I've kind of mashed them all together and seem to have come up with something that I think will work. It's kind of a mixture of just some workouts, some generic workouts that I found online, and kind of pulling in some table tennis elements into it. So if that works, I'll let you know. But what I'd love to know, if anybody knows of anyone who's doing table tennis specific workout routines, anyone who's got a YouTube channel that kind of specializes in this, I'd love to have a look into this, because I think it's a little bit of a gap in the market, and I get gym anxiety and I don't really want to go in and use all of the equipment. I'm much more comfortable trying to work out at home, in the comfort of my own home, in my own room. So if anyone knows any like low equipment workout routines that I think are tailored to the women's game, I am super interested. So please, let me know in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into this episode. An absolutely fab episode for you. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to our conversation with Tiana Dennison and Amelia Chan. Hi guys, welcome back to Serving Up Trouble, and I'm here today with Tiana Dennison and Amelia Chan. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
It's lovely to be here.
It's so cool to have you both. And I mean, I'm going to start off first because when I asked Tiana if you wanted to be on the podcast, you were like, can Amelia come as well? It was like the first thing you wanted. I was like, can Amelia come on as well? So
Yeah.
I'm really interested in this friendship and this dynamic. Like, how long have you guys known each other?
Oh, well, we've known each other for a long time. Probably, I don't even know how long.
China camp was 10 years ago.
Yeah, but we've known each other from before that.
Maybe like a year or two before that.
Yeah, so we've known each other throughout our whole career, basically. And then when we went to China, so then my dad did like a group trip to China with a lot of players from my club, and then some other players from different clubs came as well. And then that's when I first met Amelia. And then we weren't really friends before that.
But after that was the bonding experience.
After that, yeah.
No, but I think before that camp, we played each other once in a competition, and it was awful for me. I lost, I think, like 3-0 straight. But it was just so awful, remember. Like the vibes where you were just like, oh, competition.
Are you both quite competitive, would you say?
Yes.
But it's more like,
competitive.
Yeah, but I think it's more like once we come off the table, we're obviously like, we know we're still friends, and like, it's
sometimes
fine.
Because there was one time. It was the National Cup.
Oh, here we go.
Here
we go. I hope you tell the full story.
Okay, it was the Junior National Cup, and it's one of the most intense tournaments that everyone wants to win.
Yeah.
And I think we were playing. It was best of 7, I think. And from what I recall is that I was like 3-1 up, and then I started crying because I had a really bad headache. And then Amelia, she felt sorry for me because we were good friends then, but she felt sorry for me, and then she ended up losing the game. And then after that, Amelia hated me for like the whole day because she thought that I started crying on purpose.
I'm pretty sure I ran into the toilets crying after that match.
Oh,
yeah, because I felt like she was emotionally manipulating me in the middle of a match. I couldn't believe it.
Gets the like teardrop out. So take us back to the very start then for both of you. So Tiana, first off, I mean, I know you come from a table tennis family. You've got a brother that plays. You've got a dad who's a player and coach. So how did it all start for you? Was it quite like a natural thing for you to just like come along, start playing?
Yeah, it was quite natural. So yeah, my dad, he runs like Fusion Table Tennis Club, and he's like the head coach of it now. But back then, when I was about 9 years old, my dad used to always take me to the club, and my brother would be playing and he'll be playing. And then at the end of the session, he'll just like play with me for like 5 minutes every time. And then I just started to do that every single time I was there, and I just liked it. And then I think I played a tournament one time, and then in this tournament, I don't know what happened. I can't remember it at all. But after the tournament, it turned out that my dad looked at the rankings and he saw that I was number 1 in the under 11s. And me and him were like to each other like, what? How am I number 1? I played one tournament. Like, and then he was like, yeah, there's only 2 players in the whole under 11 girls ranking, and it was me and Denise Payet at the time. Crazy. And I think I must have been number 1 for like maybe 2 months or something, but I was still number 1.
But you're taking
and so,
that.
Especially at that age, I loved it, and it made me like want to play even more because I'm like, I'm number 1. Like, this is crazy. Even though there was 2 players, but
that's cool. And like, you know, I mean, Denise is like, you know, I remember especially when she was kind of coming up into like the England squad and things, like she was like the one to beat. So you can say that you were ranked above Denise.
Literally, yeah. Me and Denise used to have really, really tough battles all the time. I've never ever beaten Denise. It's always like 3-2 every time when we were younger. And it was good there. Amelia played a lot with Denise actually.
Well, how did you start, Amelia? Like, you know, from the very beginning. How old were you?
I think I was maybe 9. My older brothers both went to Edinburgh to play sort of like recreationally. And I was obviously a bit jealous because I was just like stuck at home after school doing nothing. So then I was like, asking my parents, can I go and join? And then I joined one session, and then sort of became like a weekly thing. And then I think some people from Urban Table Tennis, I don't know why. I know what they're called.
It's hard when there's a microphone in your face. You forget everything.
So at Edinburgh, that's when Urban were playing at the same time. Yeah. And they had like sessions going on as well as the beginning sessions. So they sort of saw me after like a couple of years and were like, oh, do you want to join up, play a bit more like intermediate level? So I started training with them, and then just sort of got into competitions that way.
Do you remember, both of you, like at what point it became like competitive for you? Like what point was it like it stopped being just knocking around, you know, like getting your shots, practicing, and at what point did it become like competition? I mean, like Tiana, you said like competition started early for you.
So that kind of started it, but I remember around that age I was also doing some other sports. So I was also, not sports, but I guess you can count ballet as a sport.
I mean, you know, like activity, movement, yeah.
So I was also doing ballet and gymnastics. Like, I mean, it's hard to believe now because, like, I don't look like someone who did gymnastics, and I'm not flexible at all anymore. But, at that time I was doing gymnastics, ballet and table tennis. And then my dad, he came to me one day, he's like, okay, I know you do all these 3, but you have to choose one now. Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I ended up choosing table tennis. I was like, I want to carry on with table tennis. And that's when it got competitive for me. And I just stopped doing the other 2 and just focused on table tennis.
Yeah. How about you, Amelia?
I honestly don't remember, but I think my parents just signed me up for a competition. And I think it was like a Sippenham, maybe, I think it was mixed. It was definitely a mixed competition. Yeah. and I was playing against boys and girls, and I was doing really well against some of the boys. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this. So then I just started signing up to more competitions, and just sort of increased it up from there, to be honest.
Did either of you, like, I mean, I started playing at a, like, tiny person as well, like reaching over the table. But like when you go to these competitions when you're younger, I mean, you were saying before about like, you know, when people cry and you feel like it's quite an intense thing sometimes. So I'm just really curious from you guys' perspective as people who started playing so young, like how was that for you growing up? Like, did you like the pressure as a kid? Did you like the competitiveness, or was that something that you kind of had to get through or get over as you grew up?
That's a good question. I think I was very, very emotional as a kid. I mean, I think I'm still emotional now, but not as much. But yeah, as a kid, I used to cry all the time. Yeah, if I lost, I'll be so upset. I'll be crying, and it was a lot. But I don't know. It was just something that I had to learn. Like, as you play more and more competitions, you just kind of learn how to cope with your emotions and stuff. Like, I used to get very nervous as well when I was playing people. But then my dad, he helped teach me how to, you know, hone that into my shots that I play and try and play with confidence and, yeah, do all that type of stuff just to overcome my emotions. But, yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Amelia?
I think sort of when you start table tennis, you don't realise how competitive people can get, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at like the first few competitions, when I first heard a cho, I was like, oh my gosh, like people are like really like into it, and like they're really like shouting at each other.
Some people are like thunderous.
Yes, very much. And like
Amelia was one of them actually.
But that was like after a while.
Yeah.
But like at the very beginning, I think it was like a schools competition. One girl was playing in the finals, like she was like, it was 2-all and juice or something, but she was throwing in my face, and I was like 11 years old at the time. She was like 12, but she was like quite tall for a 12-year-old, I'd say. Yeah. So it was just really scary, and like she was doing it in my face, and I was like crying at the time. I was like, okay, like I'm sorry. So yeah, I think that's just like when you sort of realise that, oh, it's quite competitive, and then you sort of get into it after a while, and you sort of become the person that you see. So yeah,
you become part of the system.
Very much.
It's quite funny. Actually, me and Amelia were having this conversation. I was telling her a story about when I played someone at, I think it was like the Grantham 4-star or something, and I think it was the finals, and it's like someone that I was like a rival with, like we both really wanted to win. And it's funny because I think I must have won the first set, and she started crying. And then she won this next set and I started crying. And then like, in the first set, it was like we were both crying at the same time while we're playing. And it's just like, why are we both crying? And it was so funny. I think at the end of it, we probably both ended up like both crying out of just so much emotion. And it's just, back then, table tennis was so emotional for me. Like,
it's like, I mean, at that age, though, everything means so much to you. Yeah. And you feel like the stakes are so high. Even when it's not, it's like, yes, I'm playing for the local 1-star tournament, but it's like, this is everything. Like, honestly, this means everything. And like, you want to win. I mean, that's like competition.
Yeah,
exactly. It kind of comes into it.
I think it's also like not letting down all your coaches and parents who always come all this way to support you and like have paid for all your training and everything. And it's sort of like, I don't want to lose because I'll hear the end of it when I get back to training and everything. So exactly. I think there's a bit of that as well, a bit of pressure as well.
Yeah, I mean, also, I was just going to like touch on that because I mean, I've had a few, like after doing a couple of these podcasts now, like, you know, one of the things that kind of comes up of, you know, something that we maybe need to have another look at is corner coaching and the way coaches behave in the corner, especially towards how they encourage girls to play and things like that. So I'm curious. I mean, like, did you have your dad in the corner? Because my dad was in the corner, and I mean, we laugh about it now, but there was definitely a period where I'm like, I will take advice from anyone but you. Oh, okay. Like, and it wasn't like everything he said was correct. But it was like somebody else could have said the exact same thing. And I'm like, that's correct. You know, it was just, it's tricky, I think, sometimes, that dynamic. So you with your dad and then you with your coaches as well. We'll go through both.
For me, my dad was in the corner most of the time. And then also sometimes my brother would be in the corner. When I was younger, I used to argue with my dad all the time. Every time I come back to the corner, we were probably shouting at each other, and people were probably thinking, "What is going on here?" But I think I don't know. Whatever chemistry we have, it works somehow. And even though we might be shouting at each other, he's getting it across to me, and then I think he did it in a way that other people wouldn't be able to get it across to me.
Yeah.
And so with my brother as well. My brother's a bit more calmer than my dad. Me and my dad, I think we were both born in June, so we got both a similar type of personality.
Wait, what's that star sign?
That's the Gemini.
Geminis, there we go.
So I think we both think we're right some of the time, and then that can just kind of clash. And then when I was with my brother, he's a lot calmer, and like I don't really argue with my brother that much. And so it was a different dynamic, but they both worked, and I think it definitely helped that like we've got this close relationship. But it's interesting. I've had other coaches, and I think with other coaches, I would listen to them, but it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like I'm listening, but not really listening. Mm-hmm. Whereas my dad, I'm listening. Even though I'm arguing, I'm definitely listening to his points though. Yeah. And it's just an interesting dynamic, and it just works for us.
Someone who knows you as well, like just off the court, I think that can help. Like that, someone who knows your emotions and like where you're at, that's really helpful. How was it for you, Amelia? Did you feel like pressure from the corner, like especially when you were like little?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, I think my parents were there. I think it was more my mum in the corner. But obviously she wasn't a table tennis person, so she more or less just sat there, would clap a few points, give me water at the end of a set. But like she knew like not really to say anything because like she knew I could kind of do it. But then once it became more like intense competitions, I'd have a coach and everything, and I think I'd be okay. But I know. Looking back, I know I was maybe a bit rude to my coaches, so I'm sorry for that. But I was a bit rude, I'd say. But like it was just because I was getting angry at myself, more or less. Yeah. And you kind of just take it out on the person there. But I tried to remember to say sorry afterwards. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
Sometimes I feel like your personality changes when you're on the table. It's interesting because I would never be that person to like confront people like that off the table, but on the table it's like I'm a different person sometimes. I don't know what's happening.
The fierce side.
It's like I have an alter ego, I think.
Yeah, table tennis alter ego. Yeah, I feel like there's something in that.
I think so.
Definitely.
Honestly.
I think there's like something psychological goes on there where you're like game mode.
Honestly, sure. I think so.
So tell me a little bit about like your playing styles and your games, how they developed from when you were younger. So I'll start with you, Amelia, this time. So you had some like actually really good successes with like Jack Petchy and the like Butterfly School Nationals. Like we're talking like really great wins at a young age. So I'm curious about like, your training, what you were practicing at the time and how that developed as you got a bit older and had to start fighting a little bit more maybe for those matches and those wins.
I think first and foremost, if you asked anyone about how I played when I was younger, they would say, yeah, she slaps a lot. Because that was all I did really with my forehand. I just slap. I probably do it now still. I tried to do it with Tiana last week. It was quite enjoyable. And she was like, teach me how to slap. But I was like, you can't learn like that. So yeah, I think it was a lot of slapping. But also, like, training-wise, it was a lot of tactics. So, like, I don't know, I just feel like with girls playing, it's more like when you serve, you know where they're going to be. When they hit it back, you know where the receiver's going to come. And that was pretty much all I worked on. Like, the serve and the third ball attack, that was very much what training was, apart from, like, the normal, like, consistency ones. So, yeah, I think I just did that for quite a few years. I did stop table tennis after a while though, but I think when I got back into it at uni, it was sort of the same thing.
We'll come back to that a little, in a little bit, I mean, how about you, Tiana? I mean, just actually, Amelia, like, what do you use on your bat just to...
I recently changed to Tenergy 64, which I have been told is a slapping rubber. So,
It makes sense.
Yeah, how about you?
Or what do I use on my rubbers?
Yeah, what do you use on your bat?
I use Donic Blue Grip C1 on my forehand. Ooh. And I use Blue Storm on my backhand.
Right.
Yeah.
Fancy.
To be honest, rubbers and stuff, it doesn't really make much of a difference to me. Yeah. I just try whatever feels good, and if it feels good, I'll use it.
Yeah.
That's me, but yeah.
Yeah, and so how did your game develop, like, from when you started you also had success with Jack Petchy, all of those, like, tournaments as a youngster kind of coming through. Would you say that your game's changed a lot from then to now, or has it been, like, quite consistently?
I think it's been consistent, yeah. I think I was always told that I had, like, one of the more aggressive games for a girl when I was younger. I think what happened when I started playing, I was training a lot with my dad. He would do like you have 1-to-1 sessions, but we would do like a 3-to-1 session. So it would be me, I don't know if you know James Smith, and this boy named Reese Riderlingham. He was also quite good as a cadet. And yeah, we would do those sessions, and because I was training with them, I was getting like their kind of style of game as well. So a lot more aggressive and I guess powerful game. And it was interesting when I came into playing against some of the girls in tournaments. It was kind of like a shock because like Amelia, like a lot of the girls were slapping the ball. And so it was like, I'm doing this big spin and they're just going like that. And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to try and get used to that. And luckily in my club, as it developed, we got a few more girls coming to the club, such as like Lois Perryman and Scarlett O'Neill. And yeah, that kind of helped me adjust a bit more to the girls' game. But I still kept my game that I had from before, but I just learned how to use it against the different types.
Would you say that's helped you, like having a slightly more unconventional, well, I say unconventional, but like having a different style to some of the other girls that were playing at the time, you know, having a bit more of a spinny, like open up attack rather than a flat hit? Did that kind of contribute to you, like, getting some wins in?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, that's like, it's like my unique selling point. I had a spinny serve and a spinny, like, opening up because girls, they were used to playing more flat hit. And then just to come across that, it was different for them and they had to try and adjust to my game. And, yeah, that definitely helped. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I want to kind of come back to what you were saying before, Amelia, about like taking a break and then coming back for uni. So, I mean, first of all, like, why was it that you took a break in the first place? Was it just life, or was it like that you needed a break? And you know, how was coming back to it? Did you find it easy coming back?
I think I took several breaks, to be honest. Yeah. But I think the first 1 or 2 was more just like, I think I was about 16, I had GCSEs, and I kind of wanted to focus on them. I can't do everything like some people can, though. Yeah. But I just couldn't, like, keep up with it, to be honest, because I used to train, like, pretty much every day, sometimes twice a day, and you can't really be doing that if you're studying as well. That's what that's what my mentality was.
It's a lot.
So, so I took a break. I think then I went back into it after COVID, and sort of everyone was getting back into it at that time, so it wasn't sort of like anything abnormal. Yeah. But I would say that my playing was obviously worse, but it just felt different at that time. It was more like, I'm sort of playing more for fun rather than like training up for something.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I think I took another break. Right around A-level-ish times, I think. But then I got back into it at uni because I knew a few people in the club already, so I sort of found that more enjoyable to get back into. And I'd say uni table tennis is a lot more like fun, personally, because it's more like you have like your occasional league matches, but then you also have Bucks matches, which are quite good fun, to be honest. Like in my first year, I reconnected with so many people like I hadn't seen in like 5 years before, like from the competitions then. And it was just fun to catch up and play against some familiar faces. I remember playing Tiana at a Bucks match as well. She whooped me. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, like kind of taking the pressure off and just, I mean, I guess at that point in your life as well, you're also like more independent.
Yeah.
Like you're taking yourself to matches, like you're going because you want to be there kind of thing. Like it's less, you know, you're just kind of going as an obligation, like you're actively making more of a choice as well. So I think it really like a lot of people would resonate with like, it feels more fun when you're coming back the second time and it's like on your terms and things like that. Did any of you find, I mean, you were saying before about like there not being as many girls playing at that time, you know, as you were coming up. Was it ever something that you like really noticed or clocked? Like, was there any kind of challenges that came with being like the only girl in the sports hall? You know, was that something that mattered to you much, or were you like, you know, I'm just here for a time? You know, like what was, how did that kind of sit with you at the time?
For me, I definitely did notice it. I think at the start, when I just started, I didn't notice it at all. But then once I started playing more matches and more tournaments, I started to notice that, well, when I was at my club, there was literally no girls playing, and it was just me. I was the only girl, and then everyone else was boys. And it was interesting because, yeah, as I said, with the girls, the type of game that I ended up having was a bit different. And then I think what affected me with that was, like, when I would go out to tournaments and there were other girls, I wouldn't really interact with them because I was just comfortable with the boys that I knew in my club. And yeah, so I'll just stick to what I know. And I wouldn't really go out and talk to any of the girls, not because, like, I don't know, people might have thought that I was standoffish or whatever, but it's just because I was shy.
Yeah.
I was actually the most shy girl ever, and I just, stuck to what I knew. And then, but then, going out to, like, China, where I met Amelia, she was, like, probably the first girl friendship I really had. Like in table tennis.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, I had other friendships, but like proper.
You can't take it back. You can't just take that sort of statement back.
I can't be that nice to you. I can't be that nice.
I just got baited.
I'm sorry. Okay. One of the best girl friendships I had was, when I met Amelia in China, and that's when I started realising, the girls are actually nice. Yeah. And then you can actually go and talk to more people, and like just being on the scene helped with that, I guess, just being out there more. And
Yeah. Was that like a similar thing for you, Amelia, or did you like have other girls that you knew in your club? Like, how was that for you? Or did you not really like notice? Like,
I mean, at the beginning, like I knew I was, it was kind of different because it's hard to say because Urban was split into two. So half the sessions were at Ellenborough, half of them were in Barnet. So at Ellenborough, there was Denise, who I trained with all the time in the same session. So I sort of knew that she was like a figure then. She'd talk often about her successes and all this great stuff she's doing. But at Barnet, I think I was the first girl and probably the youngest there. But I kind of liked it at the beginning because I was more like, I can beat like a lot of these people, and I felt like it was more of a flex to say like, I'm the youngest here and a girl, and I beat half of you. Like I thought it was quite cool to say. But then more and more girls came into the club, which was sort of fun, I guess.
It's interesting because like I feel like I had a similar thing where it's like it's almost a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah,
and it felt quite good being able to like because it would get such a big reaction from other people as well, and that would feel really good, like especially if you're playing well, that actually almost, I don't know, maybe a bit of territorialness. I think like when other girls come in, like you're kind of like, I don't know, not making friendships as easy. So that's an interesting kind of side of it, that like if it's not being actively encouraged for like friendships to happen, you know, the girl that's there that's like been like sticking it out on her own, you know, might feel like the change is a bit odd.
And I feel like it's because like you know that you'll probably have to play that girl in your club at a competition one day. So you sort of just know that like you can be friends, but you just know you have to beat them at some point. So I think there was that as well.
I think it's also interesting how like when I was playing against the boys, even though I was beating them, the way that the boys would talk, they would like say, oh, the girls' game is terrible. Like, the girls, all they do is push and block and stuff. But I would go on and beat some of the boys in my club. But then when I get into tournaments, I had it in my mind that the boys' games are so much better because of what I'm hearing from them. And then when I go and lose to these girls, I'm like, what's happening? Like, how is this making sense? Because in my mind, because what I'm hearing, what I'm always around is that the girls' game is not good. So in my head, I just couldn't really understand why I wasn't like doing as well against the girls when I'm playing this good in my club. Well,
I think sometimes it's a clash of styles as well. Like, I mean, you know, in general, this is like a massive generalization, but I think like some girls take the ball like a little bit quicker off the table. They can stay a bit closer to the table. It tends to be like a slightly quicker game. I'd say like early on with the younger ones, it tends to be a little bit more consistent. Like they're not going for as many crazy shots as maybe some of the lads are. So I think that like if you're training, playing like with the lads and that's how you're developing your game, then actually coming into the different style, like you said, like they are different, but I mean that became your edge.
Yeah.
In the end, like you kind of learned how to use that. But I find that really interesting, like the comments that we hear. I mean, we were talking just before about like one of the reasons why I started this podcast is because of some of the rhetoric that we hear.
A little bit. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Because again, with like the comments that I would hear from the people that I was around saying like they all only push. In my mind, I'm like, when I'm playing someone who's just pushing, I'm just like, how am I losing to someone who's just pushing? Like, they're not doing, in my head, I know it sounds bad, but I'm just like, they're not really doing anything. They're not putting any pressure on me, and I'm losing. Yeah. And that's the battle I had in my mind, and that sort of negative thoughts make me play, well, not play worse, but it can affect your game. Yeah. 100%.
Like pushing's got a bad rep, man. Like I mean, like pushing can be effective. Like some people are like, 100%. Some people are so good with like the spin variation and the speed variation on their like defense. Yeah. And it can look like, I know that like sometimes the rally goes on for like 10 hours. Yeah. And it feels like nothing's happening. But you can tell that like it's a tactic. Oh, yeah, you know, it's a choice. You know, like it's not that they're doing it because they don't know what else to do. Yeah. They're making a decision to push.
Yeah, I definitely realise that now. Like someone you had on your podcast recently, Teresa Bennett. Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's so good with
and
the pushing. Yeah,
it just looks like she's pushing, but she's doing something with the ball. And even though it's a defensive style, she's being aggressive with it. Yeah, and that's the difference. Like it can be so effective.
We're taking a quick break here for our tip of the week. And the tip this week is actually from me. And the tip is to please have a look at the Table Tennis England events calendar. If you're a woman and you've just either started getting back into matches or you're looking for ways to play competitively, please take a look at the calendar, have a look at all of the upcoming events. There's some really great stuff coming up. There's a Nottingham 4-star. I know that a lot of women might feel a little bit intimidated by going into a 4-star, but there are banded events. You know, the bands exist to try and help you play players that were within your level, within your standard, within your ranking points. So it's actually a great opportunity. It's a great challenge, really, for you to see where you are in the rankings, to see how much you've improved. And I promise you it'll be a good vibe on the day. These competitions always are. I would also recommend having a look. There's a women's 1-star at Fusion coming up. And there's also lots of mixed events up and down the country. I would love to see some more women from all the age groups, from cadets all the way through to vets, taking part in some more of these competitions. It would be great to see more of a group of us going. So please check the calendar, put some dates in, put your entry forms in, see if you apply. A lot of these clubs really want to see an increase in female participation. Once they see that there's demand for it, that can only improve some of the options available to women up and down the country. So please take a look, see what you'd be available for, see if you can make some of the weekends and put your name in. You know, win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's all about challenging yourself, seeing if you can get to the next stage and having a really good time. So I'm going to put some links to the events calendar and some upcoming tournaments down below. And if you're interested, please get in touch with the relevant organisers.
one of the general statistics in like sport in general, but also in table tennis, is that black women are the most unrepresented group. And it's like, it's so hard to think about like how we can reach some of those girls, because I mean, I think that's a general sports thing as well. Like it's massively decreased the amount of black girls playing sport. But I was just wondering if, if you got any thoughts about like, what would you have liked as a young person, in that space that would have helped you like, carry on with your ballet, carry on with like doing all of these other things, and how can we reach some of those girls that like we're not getting to in this space?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, because I think black women are really underrepresented. I think for me, growing up, I never really had like an idol or like a sports person to look up to who looked like me, who was black. There was black men, even though there's still like not really much of them, but there was people like Desmond Douglas or like Darius Knight at the time, who was really big in England. But a black woman, I couldn't think of one. I never saw it myself. And even on the worldwide space as well, I couldn't tell you a black female player who's like really top level. Could you? I knew that there were a lot of Nigerian women who were really good at table tennis, but I would never know anyone's name.
Yeah. And in the UK as well, like in your space and the people that you're like playing, it's...
So I think it would have been cool to have like just someone to look up to, someone to aspire to be. And then I think the other thing is like when I went to tournaments and things like that, I was the only black girl in the hall a lot of the time. And it did feel a bit weird and does make you feel a bit uncomfortable. Yeah. So, it would just be good to have just more players there just so you feel like you fit in a bit more. Yeah. And I know for, like, because there are a lot of, like, young girls who are black that I do see playing who are just, like, maybe beginner, intermediate. But then when they go to tournaments, they might not see anyone who looks like them, and that kind of might put them off a bit. And that's probably why a lot of them kind of stop playing as well. Yeah. And then also, I'd say female coaches as well, like, black female coaches would be good to have a bit more of that. And maybe even just female coaches in general, just to help the sport for young women, just to have something to aspire to, just to see that, even if you don't want to be a top player, there's other avenues to go to. You can be a coach, you can do things like this. Yeah. I think all those type of things would help. And one interesting story is that when I played an international, it was the Lithuania, I think it was like an ITTF tournament when I was really young. And when I was there, a lot of the people from the other countries, they wanted to take pictures of me. Yeah, but you get this a lot of the time. Like, they just wanted to take pictures because they've never seen a black woman before. What? Yeah, in these other countries. And it wasn't even just a black woman played table tennis, it's just a black woman.
And they wanted to take pictures of you?
Yeah. They asked for a picture, and I was like,
I think with that, it's just like a culture shock, because like some countries just genuinely haven't seen a black person in their life, so they want to document it. as weird as it is to say, it is what it is.
It's very true, because that did happen in China as well. Yeah. Like, it wasn't, and in China it wasn't just like black people; it was also the white people and like Indian boy was there as well. They wanted to take pictures of him.
Yeah. They wanted all of you in a group. As well, scrapbooking or something.
But it would just be better if you just felt comfortable everywhere you go, and you don't feel like you're like an outcast. And I think there needs to be something done about that. And I think having like a sports personality there would be amazing. And they don't have to be like the most amazing person, like the most amazing out of the sport, but they could just be good, and you kind of just push them just to be a figure for black females in table tennis. I think that would be amazing. Yeah.
I think you could, you could vouch for that job. Yeah, I think like
you're starting coaching now.
Yeah, I do a little bit of coaching. Yeah. But I don't know about personal. I don't know if I'm good enough to be the sports
No,
personality.
you just said. You don't have to be like stand up. I feel like you got the personality.
Maybe if
that's
there's an opportunity there, I'll try.
You'll fill those shoes.
I will try. I will try my best. Yeah, I went to China twice.
Wow.
Yeah, twice in a row. And
How was that? Was it like training camps and stuff? Like.
Yeah, so we went for training camps. It was a 2-week training. Was it 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks training camp.
Very intense.
It was very, very intense.
Very intense.
It was really like an eye opener to how they train in a different country.
Yeah.
Like, it was because they what was it, like three training sessions a day, and then physical as well.
Yeah.
And then one of the sessions was just multi-ball.
Yes, yeah.
Oh
And-
god, brutal.
But the thing is, all the kids there knew how to feed multi-ball. I still don't know how to do it, but it was so like crazy that they were giving multi-ball. I was like, I swear
Honestly-
coaches are only supposed to know how to do that. So,
No, it was really, really intense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then the kids, there would be like 9-year-old kids who were just amazing, and you're just like, what? How are they so good?
What an amazing experience though that you got
It
to
was
do
really,
that
really
and like
good.
train in that way, and you know, gives you an understanding of like the world
Oh yeah.
scene like that.
And we got to do sightseeing as well. It wasn't just solely table tennis. On the weekends we went out and we went to the Great Wall of China, and things like that. We just got to see another side of the world. It was just like, if without table tennis, I would have never went. I don't think I would have went to China.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it definitely did improve my level, because one of them I came back and I won my first 4-star. I was so happy.
So it worked. It was brutal, but it worked.
Definitely. But now I'm just thinking, like, how did we even like do all that? Because now I would never ever be able to have enough stamina to get through that.
Oh no, I mean, like,
I don't know.
It's
crazy.
crazy.
It's different
Like
level.
they used to make us like run laps around like tennis courts.
Yeah.
Not even like they didn't even tell us like for how long or how many laps. We just ran endlessly.
It actually sounds traumatizing now. Think about it.
You're actually getting
We had
PTSD.
fun. Don't worry. It was fun after.
Yeah. Did you guys ever do like the Lillishore camps? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did it a few times, but then I think you had to pay for it, and then like my parents didn't really at the time didn't really have the money to pay for that, so I was doing my own training.
Was that a TTE thing or ETTA thing?
Yeah,
England camp.
Yeah.
The England camps, they were good because you got to play with a lot of the people around your level.
Yeah.
But it was just always quite far away from, especially where I live. So you had to travel, which is also money, and then you obviously paying for the camp.
Yeah.
Then paying to stay there as well.
It's a lot of money,
it's a lot
really.
of money
Like
that
it's
goes into it.
it's not the cheapest sport in the world
Really
to
is
be
not.
like.
Definitely not.
I mean, I think it's got this perception because all you need is a bat and a ball, and it's like, well, technically yes, but like the travel and the like putting the teams in and things like that, like it's a commitment. It's a financial commitment
it really
for
is.
sure.
And then, unfortunately, well, I don't know if you should say this, but in England, you don't really get much money back from playing in the sport.
No, that's fine.
No.
Especially
I think that's that's
Okay,
fair.
especially at like a high level, like you feel like you should get more money. Like when you go to other countries, you get a lot more money for table tennis, but here, unfortunately not. Even like down to like the trophies and stuff. When we went to Jersey, the trophy was massive. And the trophies I've got in England.
Yeah, and they give you like a massive one to take away. Like that was just one for their like storage, but you get a massive one to take away. As
And
well.
then I went to play in Austria. Yeah, Austria one time. I think it was one of my last junior tournaments. And it was interesting. I came third in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
And I've got the biggest trophy I've got in my whole career. I came third in the tournament, and it's the biggest trophy I've got. Like, that's crazy. So
some of the table tennis England ones are old though. Like that's what one of the things that I love about it is like looking back and it's like 1920s. And you're like,
that's
wow.
true.
And there's always like a gap where the war was.
Yeah,
like you can always see like the gap in dates. I'm like, okay, so it's like it might not look like much, but it's like it's a trophy with like history, you know.
What do you guys think about those trophies that they give you the trophy just to take a picture, but you can't
take it home?
Well, how do you guys feel about that?
You look so wronged by it.
As someone who is yet to win one,
Soon.
I think if I was to win a trophy, I'd want to keep it because I'd be like, this is the only thing.
Yeah.
That was alright. I don't mind that one.
Tiana and I were saying we want to start a podcast now. After
you want to start a podcast?
Seeing this setup, we were like,
as long as it's not a women's table tennis podcast.
No, that's all yours.
No, we can do collabs.
Yeah, we can.
All sorts.
It's actually interesting. My brother, he used to run Big Shot table tennis. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Of course.
Okay.
big fan.
But yeah, if you heard of Big Shot, shout out Big Shot. It's not here anymore, unfortunately.
Because you're shouting out.
Shout.
But yeah, me and him, we filmed a podcast session once.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, just about table tennis, like in general, not just women's. But yeah, but it never went anywhere. This was a few years ago, like during COVID.
Hey, bring it back.
Really?
Bring back Big Shot.
Yeah, maybe. You actually should.
Bring back the TRD show. That's what I want to see. That is Tiana's YouTube channel. She started in COVID.
But that's nothing to do with table tennis.
Yeah, no, but you did do some table tennis stuff on there. That's a good one.
That's dead.
Think about like women and girls in general and like where it is at the moment. If you had like unlimited resources, you could do anything you wanted to try and boost the women and girls scene in the UK. What kind of things would you like to see happen? And I'm going to go to Amelia first.
I think maybe a female-only club. That would be a good one.
You know, there's Bernadette Socks from Romania.
Oh, okay.
So there's actually a Romanian all-girls like club that have started like putting girls up through. And when I was talking to Jill Parker, she kind of brought that up. It's like, how amazing would it be to have something like that here? But yeah, like an all-girls club, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think that would be good, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start an all-girls club.
Maybe. I don't know. What would I do? I think definitely like just hosting like girls sessions. So maybe you can have like some sort of organization that just does girls sessions, but you go to each different club around the UK, go into their club and just say this is the girls session and make it seem like an elite thing to be in. And you have people wanting to be in that session. And stuff like that. I don't know. And also just going into like maybe schools and things like that. Because I feel like a lot of people like table tennis. Like not even like table tennis. A lot of people love table tennis. But they just don't know that it's out there and that it's a big, it can be a big sport. So if you go to like schools early and just tell the girls about it and host sessions to get people to play and try it. Because another thing is that the girls, I feel like girls don't really want to like do too much, like do like too much sweating. And when when you're beginning table tennis, it's really like easy sport just to do. You're not like running and doing too much. And so it's quite easy sport to get into. So that could be a good idea.
What kind of advice would you give to like you as a younger player starting out? Is there anything that you'd tell yourself about like what's to come and what to work on?
I would just tell myself to just take it more seriously, because I did take it serious, but not as seriously as I should have. I was always being pushed to try and... I used to train about 3 times a week when I was playing competitively, and that's not enough. For the level that I was playing at, it was definitely not enough. And people were always telling me to do more physical. And I wish I did that, because I definitely had a really, really good, big opportunity at the level that I was playing at, and I just kind of missed it. So I just tell myself to push myself more, basically.
Sometimes it's just where you are in your life, though. I don't think you can, feel too bad about... Because 3 times a week is still, that's a lot of table tennis. And I know that, obviously that opportunity was there, and it's good that you've got, you wanted to push for it and drive for it and take that opportunity, but, that's a massive commitment as a young person. So I don't think, it's not necessarily that you missed something. It was just that your life went in a bit of a different direction maybe at that time.
Yeah.
And you can still, you're still playing at an amazing level now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen, some of your, Division 1, British League videos. You give people running around.
Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, if I'm playing at this level now, imagine what I could have done if I actually took it more seriously.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I think.
But yeah, it's still cool that I'm playing at this level now.
Yeah. Oh no, it's cool. we didn't really talk about British League, but like you playing at like a high level in like the mixed league, like that's really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. What, the Women's British League?
Well, you play obviously Women's British, but you play regular British League as well, don't you?
I do. I play both British Leagues, No, it's definitely cool to play. And yeah, it was really cool to win Women's British League as well with my team 1 year as well. Like, and to win that when I wasn't really like, when I kind of stopped playing as much as I was playing, it was really cool.
Yeah. What about you? What would you tell your...
I'd probably say the opposite. I'd say take it more easy.
The contrast.
Yeah, but I think that's just because I think when I was playing, it was more just I was playing to play. I didn't really know what I was sort of training for. I probably would tell myself to stop and like figure out what you're actually working towards, because I'd say there wasn't really an end goal. It was more just playing to play in the next competition. So I'd probably say take it a bit easier. And I think maybe if I did, I would have stayed with it longer.
I think it's just interesting how we all have just different stories and journeys of table tennis. Like your journey is like completely opposite to mine. Like with that, what you just said, and then also like you kind of started playing again at uni, whereas I stopped when I went to uni. Yeah. And it's just interesting. Everyone's journey is just so different.
It's nice that people kind of are coming back and kind of find their way back to it though, like that community and that things like that. Like that's something that I don't think really leaves you. It keeps you coming back in. I mean, I know you've got obviously family that play and things like that as well, but you know, outside of that, the friendships and all of that, like it does become a bit of your social circle as well, and it becomes like something that you look forward to. Like I think as an adult, I've looked forward more to like going to competitions, seeing these people, having those interactions, like almost as much as like the opportunity to play.
Maybe that's something that we can try and do more of, like showing the outside part of table tennis, like showing that bit, because that's the bit that everyone loves, like just the social part of table tennis. And
I think it's also interesting that we obviously met through table tennis, but the amount of times that, like for example, me and you have hung out outside of anything to do with table tennis. It's like a life, or hopefully it's like a life friendship.
It's not just table tennis, it's friendship.
It's
what a beautiful note. The power of friendship.
Not just table tennis.
That's what I'm going to call this episode. It's going to be like full cheese. And Amelia, just to kind of wrap up this conversation a little bit. So we've talked a bit about, you know, going abroad, having all of these opportunities and things like that. So what would you say is probably your proudest table tennis moment? What like really sticks out as like, that was like, I played amazing, this was my best, like...
Oof. I'm not too sure. I'd say like proudest to have said you've won was the Jersey Grand Prix, which Tiana also won like 2 years afterwards. So we held the same trophy once.
How cute.
But yeah, I think that was like, I think with table tennis it's hard because it's more like, it's better to say you've won something with a title, and I feel like it means more to someone else in table tennis when you say you've won this specific thing. So yeah, I think I'd just have to say Jersey Grand Prix.
Nice. And what's next for the both of you? Like, what is it that you're like? What's the goal? What's the like? What are you going for?
No, me and Tiana. No, don't look at me like that. We said this. We said it would be interesting in the next year if we actually trained like we used to. What we had this conversation. We said if we train like we used to, like day in day out, get back to the standard we were once at, and go to nationals, senior nationals, qualify and play. That's sort of the next thing for the next year. For me,
we're actually going to do that.
Should we make a bet?
Yeah, you know what? Make a commitment, right? Are you guys going to be at the next nationals?
I hope so.
If Tiana does it, I'll do it.
Oh, come on, you got to do a little...
Okay,
Shake on it. Shake on it. You know what? It could be a really good like women's doubles pairing.
Oh, that's what we said as well.
We did say that, but then I was like, I don't really take doubles as seriously because she takes it very seriously, so I think we might clash.
Like
but
clash.
But I would do it.
I think you should.
I think she might
like
hate
even
me by
just
the
go
end of
for
it.
the experience. like you know, if you're gonna be in nationals, why not be part of like as many things as you can?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think so. That's the goal, to try and get internationals this year.
I mean, all our friends do it, so we should go and play.
Well, we have to work hard though.
Yeah, we do. We want to we want to come out on top.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That'd be so cool to see you guys there. Thank you so much for taking part in this. I hope that like it's been fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
And that's it.
That's great.
That's it for this episode, but I'm not going to finish without talking about our champion of the week. Now, here's a challenge for you. Can you name the female number one in the world? Well, I think that we all should be able to, as most players can with the men's. So today, my champion of the week is the world number one, Sun Yingsha. She first claimed the number one position in February 2022 and has stayed there ever since. The girl is consistent. Obviously, she's exceptionally skilled, but I think one of the things that I've really taken to about Yingsha is her attitude. She's very humble, she's useful, she's fun, and she's a fighter. She has a nickname of Old Sun because of the way that she contemplates her serves and her actions on the table. So she's quite an old soul, really wise to the ways of the game, and really thinks about what she's going to do before she goes into action. She was the first player born after 2000 to become world number one. The level of fame that Chinese players receive, it's really insane, but that also comes with its criticisms and the negative media attention that can bring. People are very passionate about their idols, and I think that Sun Yingsha takes that responsibility very seriously. But it's also important to remember how young she is and how young she was when she started coming into this incredibly competitive and public environment. Like any young person in the spotlight, it has to be challenging, but Yingsha lets her table tennis do the talking, and I love how deliberate she is. I think she'll go down in history as being one of the women's all-time greats, and I think that is very much her goal as well. That's everything for this week. If you're enjoying this podcast, please give us a review on Spotify and Apple. It really helps. And also spread the word. Tell some of your teammates about us, and tune in next week for another episode of Serving Up Trouble. Bye!